probably don't remember me, Mrs. Jackson.
Oh, but I do. I know who you are. You're Damien Tyler. Detective Tyler. You came one day to visit Raven just recently.
That's right. No, this is a magnificent party.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. You're new in Monticello, aren't you?
Yes.
And how do you like living here?
Actually, I'm beginning to enjoy it very much. It's a good city. Of course, I'm not really quite settled yet, but I like the job, I like the men I'm working with, and most of the people I've met so far.
I'm glad to hear it.
Of course, I haven't met that many people, but I have a feeling that I'll be much more at home when I expand my circle of friends.
Tell me, do you know Raven well, or was it Mr. Whitney who invited you to the wedding?
Oh, no, it was Mrs. Whitney who invited me. I know I don't know her that well. As a matter of fact, I just met Mr. Whitney this evening. But I would like to know her. I mean, both of them, very much.
Not in an official capacity, I would hope.
Oh, no, nothing official. Nothing official at all.
Come on. I was looking all over for you downstairs. I want to have one more dance before we go.
You know, it just occurred to me I haven't seen Jody for the last half hour.
Well, maybe we better keep an eye on her. Martine was worried about her.
What do you mean, worried?
Well, she seemed to think Jody consumed a little bit too much champagne.
Oh, dear.
No, I don't think so either. I just saw her have one glass. I think Martine's probably being a little overprotective.
Well, I don't like the sound of that. If you'll excuse me for a minute, I think I'm just going to go check to make sure my little sister is okay.
You need me out.
Jody, where is she? I haven't seen her for the last half hour.
Well, she's out wandering around the garden. She's out there someplace.
What, and you didn't go with her? You just let her go? I mean, you are her escort tonight, aren't you?
In name only. I let her go, yes. Well, have you ever tried to win an argument with your sister?
On occasion, yes. Yes, I guess she does hold her own.
Tell me, is that kind of determination running the family?
I hope so. What's she doing out there, anyway?
I think she had too much champagne to drink. She's not used to it, so she went for a walk to clear her head.
Alone?
No. One of the girls from the dance company went with her.
Why didn't you go with her?
She preferred it that way.
Oh, I see. Well, Kelly, if you see her, would you please tell her that I'm looking for her?
Oh, sure, Nicole. Okay. Hi, Mel.
Oh, Kelly, you look wonderful in a tuxedo.
Thank you. Look, I can see that you've been very busy. Are you enjoying all this?
Oh, what a great party. And I think we are getting some great pictures, really.
Mr. Crown, may I interrupt Miss Bryson's labors to ask her for a dance?
But of course, my dear boy. It's about time she had a little fun anyway. She's been so busy. She works so hard all day.
Miss Bryson, may I have this dance?
Why, certainly, sir. Thank you, Carlos.
Not at all. I always like to see the young folks having a good time.
Oh, listen to the old man.
And now, my sweetheart, I believe that we should mingle.
My pleasure.
Well, how are you folks doing? Doing quite well, thank you. Eleanor, you know Star Whitney.
Of course. Star, congratulations.
Well, thank you, my dear.
The powder room.
Right through the library and campus.
Thank you.
I'll see you back in the hour. Congratulations.
Thank you, Gavin.
It's been quite a day, hasn't it?
Yes, it has been quite a day.
Do you have any honeymoon plans?
We're going to be going to New York for 5 or 6 days. We'll be coming back late next week, I believe. Because I've got so much work left on the dance company, I've got to take a look at set designs, costume designs, things like that. Oh, and I've got a meeting with musicians union, which I'm not looking forward to. Well, 100 small details like that.
Yeah, I know. There's quite a lot to do. I suppose it's useless for me to try to get you to push back the date of the opening.
Yes. It's useless. You've already asked me that, Gavin. How are things going on your end?
It's going to be awfully tight.
Well, that is going to be true for every aspect of this production. But we'll make it, won't we? And Jody Travis will make it, won't she?
I don't know if I can say right now. For sure, I mean.
Oh, yes, but I am sure that you will try, Gavin. Yes, I'm very sure that you will try.
Boy, when you start courting influence, you don't mess around, do you? What do you mean by that? I mean, when you want to get next to the power and glory in Monticello, you go straight to the top, don't you? Did you see him? Could you believe that, trying to ingratiate himself with Mrs. Saxon that way and so blatant about it?
Well, it can't hurt to know the right people.
Hey, wait a minute. Enough is enough. I did not ask Mrs. Saxon to dance because I thought she was influential. I did it because she happens to be our hostess, and because she's a very charming and delightful woman. In fact, I enjoyed her company very much, which is more than I can say about a certain party I could name. Why, you ingrate. I mean, after all I've done to try to brighten your life since you come to Monticello. Huh? Hey, would you like to dance, Star? Oh, no. You are not going to dance with my wife. You'll never get in good with me that way. Besides, I never let her associate with riffraff. Well, for that, I am leaving. You have to leave. You've got night duty. You're right. I guess I don't have much time.
And if you think you're going to take my husband out of here with you, it's over my dead body.
Don't worry, Mrs. Stoner. You can keep Mr. Stoner to yourself. I'll leave. I sure can. A loafer. You know, it's too bad I have to leave such a swell party just to go back on duty. Probably until dawn. Yeah. Well, at least you got here for the best of it. I mean, you were here for all the food and champagne. You know, I keep thinking about somebody else who really is working tonight. Probably making do with a ham and Swiss on rye.
On the contrary, Miss Bannister, I understand your problem. There's just very little I can do about it, so I hope you will understand my situation.
Oh, yes. I understand your position. And I also understand your objectivity, Chief Mallory.
You've talked to the arresting officer. You're obviously dissatisfied with the results, but I can only tell you what I'm sure he told you. Your client has an extensive criminal history. Now, just because this particular case is a relatively minor one, it doesn't mitigate his overall record.
I'm sorry to hear you say that. I was hoping you'd have a little more compassion.
Compassion just doesn't lie within my province. Look, I don't make the laws, I just enforce them. I'm not a judge, I'm a cop trying to do his job.
Just the same, I don't see how you can possibly...
You don't give up, do you?
No, I don't. Not when a client is concerned. Now, look, you admit that the charges against my client are minor. Do you also admit that if he's convicted, he faces a very long period in jail?
It's an obvious possibility, but again, I'm not the judge and I don't make these decisions. I think you should be talking to somebody in the district attorney's office. Maybe you can get more satisfaction from them, which you won't be able to from me.
Then it's useless for me to ask you to drop the charges.
Totally useless for the last time.
Well, thank you for seeing me. It was nice of you to take the time so late at night. At least I got more courtesy from you than I did from your Officer Stoner.
No, I'm sorry. Look, we deal with heavier things around here than just social amenities. Besides, you're new in this law business, aren't you?
How can you tell? Because I still care? Because I'm not cynical?
That's exactly how I can tell.
Good night, Chief Mallory.
Good night, Counselor. To pass away the time of day with me. I just can't oblige. I got too much work to do.
I didn't. I came by to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. For what?
For last night. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I've sincerely made my heart grow fonder.
It was the most wonderful night I've had in a long time.
Really? And I would have just settled for breaking into the top 10.
I was hoping that every night could be that wonderful.
I told you there was something we could do about that.
Well, I know. That's why I came here. To give you an answer to your question. The answer is yes.
What'd you say?
I said I want to be Mrs. Derek Mallory.
Are you serious?
Yes! I want to marry you.
I've had Gunther change our reservations and our times in New York, but we're going to have to be leaving very soon. I'm packed ready. How about you?
Geraldine's doing it.
Well, I'm sure she's going to do a good job. Now, listen, I will see you upstairs shortly. And I mean shortly.
I hate punctuality. Hello.
Hello.
So, you want to dance with the bride? Everyone else has.
Of course I do.
Okay. Just a minute. Could we have a nice slow one? Well, you know, you seemed a little hesitant.
No, not at all. I guess I'm not very good at this sort of thing.
I think you're very good at this sort of thing.
Thank you.
Having a good time?
Yes. I'm having a wonderful time. Unfortunately, I have to leave pretty soon. I'm on late duty.
Oh, no. The party's just going to get better. Oh, no! Are you leaving?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry to say we are. We both have an early day tomorrow, but I'm sure you know we wish you and Sky, wherever he is, all happiness.
We certainly do, Raven. Many happy years together.
Thank you so much, and I'm so glad that you could share our happiness. And I also hope that our marriage is as successful as yours seems to be.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, and
You're
good night.
beautiful.
Good night,
Good
Raven.
night.
Miss Duval, I just happen to have time for one more dance. May I have the pleasure?
You may not. It seems I cannot go anywhere without you suddenly appearing behind the bushes. Don't you have anything else to do but to follow me around asking questions?
Hey, wait a minute. I'm not following you around. You know, I was invited to this wedding, too. I'm not here to ask any questions. This is strictly a social event. I just want to ask, would you care to dance? Now, that's not difficult to answer, is it?
No, not at all. No, thank you.
Well, this looks like a very likely couple. May I, have a picture, please?
No, I do not want to have my pictures taken here with the Monticello police. I am not in custody after all.
My dear lady, who would ever think of such a thing? You looking so beautiful and so innocent.
No photograph, no dance. I guess I just struck out. Excuse me.
With pleasure.
Seem to be awfully chummy with the police. Do you think that's such a wise idea, Miss Duval?
You have no sense in your head. Can you please go take your pictures someplace and leave me alone?
You know, I'm very surprised to see you here at all. You were so adamant about refusing your invitation. Yet here you are, looking stupendous, causing a sensation, and making trouble. You have to go there. Same old Martine.
You're the same old fool. Please, people are seeing us here. What do they think?
That's exactly what I want them to do, to see us together. We'll fall into place quite naturally. And now that they have seen us together, so innocently and respectably, the future will become the past, and no one will be any the wiser. Remember, you promised to have dinner with me one night next week. I'll be in touch.
Yes, no doubt. You will be in touch.
Geraldine, that was the most wonderful wedding I have ever had.
Well, that's quite a tribute.
And Skylar and I will never be able to thank you enough.
Raven, I'll be rewarded enough if you and Skylar simply make a success of this marriage.
Well, why do you look so solemn? Don't you think we will?
I think you will if you try. Marriage isn't just a one-sided affair, you know. There's a lot of compromise. You just can't have everything you want all the time. There's a lot of give and take.
Oh, I know that. But Sky, he's so giving, and I wouldn't want to hurt his feelings, so what else can I do but take?
No, that's what I was afraid of.
What?
Never mind. Now listen to me. This is a very important step in your life. I want you to work hard at it. Work hard to make it a success, Raven. Do you understand that? Now, I'm going to tell you 3 things before I leave. 3 things to remember. Think before you act. Always mend a quarrel before you go to sleep. And never, never leave your pantyhose hanging in the bathroom.
Thank you.
Well, now, is everything about ready?
Yes, I think I have everything I need.
Well, ladies, did you have a good cry?
Oh, yes, dear, it was lovely.
Once more, Geraldine, thank you for everything.
Just be happy, Skylar. That's thanks enough for me. I'll see you downstairs.
So fast.
Oh, well, it wasn't very complex, Raven. I'll send these over to you if you like, but first let me give you a brief idea here.
There's one dateline, Zurich, Switzerland, almost 3 years ago. Rescuers finally reached the remnants of a light private aircraft late yesterday afternoon, 12 kilometers from the village of Sunderman in the Levantine Alps. The aircraft was owned and piloted by Schuyler Whitney, international playboy, and heir to the Samuel Whitney fortune.
The flight plan was filed for passage between Bern and a ski resort in the southern Levantines and listed a passenger, Jefferson Brown, known to be a personal friend of the pilot.
A rescue party, which reached the site of the crash, reported the plane apparently had slid into a mountain crevice upon impact, and only a few remnants of the plane have been found. Identification was made through serial numbers found on a piece of the tail section. There were no known survivors.
I don't know what to say.
Well, now, here's another one. It's a brief one, just a follow-up 2 months later, and this one is also Dateline Zurich.
Schuyler Whitney, international society figure, has been released from the hospital after spending many weeks in a coma. Mr. Whitney was found in a mountain lodge near the village of Sunderman after the plane crash that took the life of his friend and co-pilot Jefferson Brown.
Mr. Whitney plans to resume his business activities in Zurich and other international capitals in the near future.
You spoiled it, Raven. Damn you. You spoiled it all. Like I was going to be really happy for the first time. And she had to go and ruin it. She couldn't just let me be. She couldn't just let me be. All right. All right, now wait a minute. Just take it easy. Just think. All right. She knows. Why the hell did she have to find out? Why? All right, okay, never mind that now. Just think it out. For God's sake, just think it out.
Hello, baby. I'm starved. How about you?
Oh, that's right, dinner. Well, why don't you go talk to Chrissy?
Well, I fear that whatever was cooking in there is probably all dried up by now.
Well, as I told you, dear, that is your department, so why don't you handle it?
Oh. Okay. Tell you what. Why don't I, fix up one of my special combinations?
Such as?
Let's see. Such as frozen pizza, champagne. And I'll even make it. Except Chrissy has to put it in the oven.
Well, that's rather a curious combination. But then again, you're rather a curious person, aren't you?
Well, I'll, be right back.
Well, I'm delighted that you wanted to spend time with us, Valerie. Is it our air conditioning?
It is hot out, isn't it?
Oh.
Yes, but you know it wasn't that, Mrs. Carr. When Kelly suggested it at dinner, I said, let's go.
Well, I hope you'll always feel welcome in this house, Valerie.
Here, here.
truth is, I'm very, very grateful to be with friends. Tonight especially.
Why tonight especially?
Well, it's just that I've been having this problem. I haven't been able to sleep recently. I just lie there and think about my father. I've been wondering whether I will ever be able to speak to him again. And it's very frustrating because there are a lot of things that I want to say to him.
Valerie, the Kavanaughs were here with us for dinner tonight, and Dr. Kavanaugh suggested that the reason for your father's slow recovery might be due in part to his lack of motivation, that perhaps it's his way of retreating from reality.
That thought occurred to me too, Mr. Carr. Heaven knows the realities are enough to make anyone retreat.
Well, you are aware that he feels he's protecting you.
Oh, yes, I'm aware of that, Miss Carr. It's just awfully hard to deal with.
Val, you haven't met Miles and Nicole Kavanaugh yet, have you?
No, I haven't actually met them. I did take some pictures of them at the Whitney wedding, though.
Right. Well, when you do, you'll love them because they're great people.
It's too bad you didn't arrive earlier while they were still here, but Nicole had to go back to the station for the late news.
Well, it's about time for that now, isn't it? Would you like to watch, Val?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
The fire was brought under control by 3 units of the Monticello Fire Department after 9 hours of battling the blaze. Fire Chief Dudley Harmon says that there will be a full investigation to determine the cause of the fire. Damages are estimated at $500,000. And this just in. Dr. Kenneth Bryson, the plastic surgeon indicted in the kidnapping of Nancy Carr, has died. Several days ago, Dr. Bryson suffered a severe heart attack and was
sorry. We all are. Look, it's terrible that you have to hear it like this.
Valerie, we're going to help you.
No, no.
Oh, no, you're not going to be alone. You won't.
We're behind you.
Valerie, I want you to stay with us tonight, right here.
Valerie Bryson, who now resides in Monticello. After receiving degrees in Europe, Dr. Bryson began a distinguished career as a plastic surgeon, first in France and Switzerland. His expertise was sought by international jet-setters, politicians, and movie stars. As his reputation spread, other clients, notable in the underworld, began to seek out Dr. Bryson's skills. These clients paid huge sums of money to have their features altered in order to escape pursuit by legal or political enemies. Eventually, Dr. Bryson was able to found a chain of clinics throughout Western Europe. In particular, the clinic in Lucerne, Switzerland, became notorious as a surgical center. This was where no questions were asked of any patient who could afford the astronomical fees. A reliable source has reported that patients at these clinics were given numbers, like Swiss bank accounts, to ensure their privacy. Gradually, the Bryson clientele consisted almost exclusively of members of international crime syndicates and terrorist groups, all seeking anonymity. The services offered by the Bryson clinics allegedly were sustained by either blackmail or coercion. One infamous client was Ira Gideon, a renowned embezzler now serving a term in the state penitentiary. When Swiss authorities became troubled by the Bryson clinic's unsavory reputation, they began an investigation of Dr. Bryson and his staff. It was then that the operation moved from Switzerland and established new bases in the United States. In Monticello, the establishment was called the Rexford Institute, and it was named after Dr. Bryson's second wife, Elizabeth Rexford. It is unknown and may never be determined how many identities were changed both here and abroad by the skillful, if misguided, artistry of Dr. Kenneth Bryson. Despite the fact that perhaps hundreds of underworld figures have escaped detection with the help of Dr. Bryson's plastic surgery, an investigation is underway in an attempt to reveal at least some of the names of patients involved in what is known in official investigative circles as the Janus operation. The search goes on. Unquestionably, it will be a long one, and it is in Lucerne, Switzerland, where the investigation is centered, at least at present.
Is, Lucerne near Zurich?
Yeah, yes, as a matter of fact. I believe it is. To, Dr. Bryson. May he rest in peace.
Yes, Raven. There's no doubt about it. You've been here. This was never lying on top of the pile. You make a very poor spy, Raven. Really second rate.
Sky, where are you? Sky, where are you? Sky.
Yes. Where are you, Jack? Jefferson Brown, I miss you sometimes.
I told you once there was quite a bit of difference between a man and a boy. And I'll bet you've just been wondering about that ever since. I'll just bet you have. So, I'm gonna come back there and we're gonna talk about it.
No! 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 Somebody help! Somebody let me out of here!
Don't touch that phone.
Give me that phone.
No!
Give me that.
No! That's Skylar Whitney. That's Skylar Whitney on the phone. Answer it or I will.
I gotta think about this one.
Hey, come back here, come!
Mr. Whitney, this is Gunther. I'm just calling, sir, to tell you that I'm coming back home. No, everything's just fine. Yeah. Okay, good night, sir.
Oh, Mrs. Carr. I still can't believe it. Everything seems so unreal.
I know, Valerie. Sometimes... Oh, this is such a strange world. Please, for whatever comfort it can give you, try to remember what Kelly said. You're not alone. We're all here whenever you need us. From now on.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Oh, it's so strange, though. Even though I knew how sick he was, the doctors gave me so little hope, I kept thinking that he would get better. I just thought we'd talk again and this whole nightmare would work itself out somehow.
Here's some tea. Careful, it's hot.
Thank you. I guess no matter how sick a person is, you never expect death to come. You're never really prepared for it.
No, never.
If I had just known...
No, please, don't do that. Don't think of what might have been, please. You were a wonderful daughter for your father in the most trying circumstances. Please, you've got to remember that. Forget the rest.
But I keep thinking about what I wanted to say to him.
Please, Valerie, don't.
I'm okay, really. It helps to talk about it.
You sure? All right, what would you say to him?
I would have said, Daddy, I love you.
I'm sure he knew that.
And I would have also told him that I've forgiven him.
Forgiven him?
For his treatment of you, Mrs. Carr. I know you can never do that, but I'm sure of how sorry he was. And I forgive him.
I've already done that, Valerie.
He wasn't a bad person. He was weak, maybe, and easily led, but there were so many good and kind things about him.
I know that. I saw that in him.
Oh, God. Look at me. I am 21 years old. I feel like I'm 4. I am lost. I'm so lost.
You are not lost. Valerie, you have a new family. You have a brand new family.
All the rotten things. Hear about the death of her father over a television set.
Well, it's a terrible shock under any circumstances. To hear it on the newscast. You know, I'm positive Nicole must have thought it was cleared and that Valerie had been notified. She's too responsible a journalist to put a story like that in the air without any thought but news value.
Yeah, I know that too, Mike. It's just that it was such a shock to Val.
Yes, I'm sure it was.
Mike, I feel guilty. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to face her.
Why should you feel guilty, Kelly? You had nothing to do with her father's death and the fact that it was announced publicly.
I know. It's just that I was thinking back to all those harsh things I said about her father. Mr. Big Mouth. Couldn't have kept my feelings to myself, no.
Hello?
Mike, it's Miles. Look, I just heard Nicole's broadcast about Dr. Bryson's death. Did you and Nancy hear it?
Yes, we did. Miles, Kelly and Valerie Bryson went to dinner tonight together, and he brought her back here afterwards. The first time she heard the news was on TV.
Oh, that's what I was afraid of. Look, Mike, I just got off the phone with Nicole. She was appalled to find out after the broadcast the hospital had given out the information without notifying his daughter. Now, somebody just handed the item to Nicole before she went on the air. She assumed notification had already been made. That's standard practice, you know?
Yes, I know it is. Somebody fouled up, that's all. We discussed it already and figured that's what must have happened.
Well, at any rate, Nicole is very, very upset.
Miles, reassure her that we understand it's not her fault.
Well, how's Miss Bryson doing?
Terribly shaken, as you can imagine. We're going to try to convince her to stay here for the night, so she won't be alone.
Well, that's a good idea. After all she's been through with her father not letting her come to see her. Mike, we'll talk later. Jody, what's the matter? What happened?
It's Gunther. It's Gunther. Gunther tried. Wait.
All right. No, wait a minute. Just calm down. Don't say anything. All right, you're home now, and you're safe. All right, come on. Sit on the couch. Just sit down there. Okay, take a nice deep breath. Come on. Nice deep one. All the way out. All right, now. From the beginning. You just take your time. What happened?
Okay. I was leaving the dance studio, and I saw Gunther. And he said that Skylar Whitney sent the car for him to take me home. And I said to him, no, it's okay, I can find my own way home. But he insisted that he was under orders and he was to take me home. So like an idiot, I agreed, and I got in the back seat. And the next thing I knew, he locked the doors.
What?
He locked the doors, and I couldn't get out.
Anyway, I realized that he had been, drinking, and he was in a playful mood, if that's what you could call it. And then I knew this guy Whitney wasn't the one who sent the car for me, that it was Gunther's idea. And then he, kept making all sorts of insinuations and embarrassing remarks about getting to know me better and other intimate things. And I kept pleading with him to please take me home, please take me home. But he wouldn't. Finally, he just kept grinning at me and staring at me, and he just kept saying all disgusting things.
Pig. That pig.
I don't know, Miles. Maybe it was his idea of a joke. But I'll tell you, I have never been so scared or panicked in my life.
Now, listen to me, Jody. Did he hurt you in any way? Did he assault you?
No. Well, not exactly. What he did was he got out of the car and he came around to the back seat and he started to get in. And I saw this phone and I grabbed it and I noticed this button. It said SGW and it must be a direct connection to the Whitney mansion. So I pushed the button and he got really mad and he grabbed the phone from me and he hung it up. And then he started to go for me again. But then the phone started to beep. And he looked at the phone, and he looked at me, and he started to back off. I guess it was Skylar Whitney on the phone calling him back. Anyway, he got out of the car, and he walked around to the front of the car, and I knew this was my only chance. So the door was open, so I jumped out of the car, and I ran as fast as I could. And I have been running ever since.
So if that phone hadn't rung, you would have been in real trouble, is that right?
I would have been in a lot of trouble. Yeah.
All right, I'll tell you what you do. Come here. Then go up to bed. Try to get some sleep. I'm not going to tell you to try not to think about this, because I know that's impossible, but I just want you to keep thinking you're home now, and you're safe, all right?
Okay.
And thank God you didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
You go on now.
Good night.
So, he's dead. Now Dr. Kenneth Bryson will never be able to talk about this face. But what about Raven? Raven always talks too much.
Well, young man, how are you feeling today?
Well, much better now, thanks.
Yes, you always seem to feel much better after your daily visitor arrives. Hello, love.
Hi, Daddy.
So, Miss Nightingale, you're still ministering to the sick, eh?
Oh, yes.
What are you reading to the lieutenant today?
Remembrance of Things Past.
Proust. Don't you think that's a bit much?
No. You know how bright I am, Daddy. Anyway, Lieutenant Dietrichson helps me along if I stumble.
Oh, I see. Well, then. Now, don't get all involved and spend all day out here. You missed dinner last night, young lady. We dine at 7, remember?
I'll remind her, sir.
Good. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, Lieutenant. Oh, and Valerie. See you at dinner.
Yes, sir. So, how is Lieutenant Dietrichson today?
Well, Lieutenant Dietrichson is just fine now, thanks. Now that Miss Valerie Bryson is here. Before I see you, it's all a bore. I am sick to death of these swaddling clothes.
Stop. Patience, patience. Daddy told me yesterday that the bandages should come off in 10 days or so. I know you can't wait. But I'm just as anxious as you are. Can you imagine? All these weeks that we've been together and I still don't know what you look like.
It is odd, isn't it? Ah, but what were to happen if they removed the bandages and underneath I was as ugly as an old frog? Huh? What would you do then?
Oh, surely you know the ending to that story. The princess simply kisses the frog and turns him into a handsome prince.
Oh, is that the way that story ends, eh? But seriously, Valerie, I wouldn't want you to see what's underneath the bandages until my face heals completely.
You just realize that your face will be as new to you as it will be to me.
I hope that we both like it.
I am going to like it. am sure of that, Lieutenant.
I'll see Gunther.
Who, sir?
Gunther Sylvester Wagner. Get him!
Well. Christy told me there was a gentleman here to see me. I think she's wrong. That is no gentleman, Chrissy. That is Dr. Miles Cavanaugh. So what do you want, Doctor? I said, why are you here? Somebody sick?
Yeah, somebody's sick, Gunther. Happens to be you. Now, I know that you're not overly bright, but it's a sure thing you know exactly why I'm here right now. Just what the hell did you think you were doing with Jody Travis tonight?
I was just doing my job. You know, trying to take her home. Mr. Whitney asked me to do so.
You're a liar.
What?
I said you're a liar. Mr. Whitney gave you no such order. You picked her up on your own. You intimidated her. You scared the life half out of her. Now, if I find that you come within 10 blocks of her any time in the future, the only things you're going to be able to molest are the cockroaches in a jail cell.
Listen, I don't have to take this from you. Who the hell?
Maybe you would like to explain what happened tonight to Chief Mallory.
What is all this? What's going on here, Dr. Cavanaugh? Gunther?
Look, he's trying to cause some trouble, Mr. Whitney. I told you once before. He's got it in for me. You know, like, he'll tell any kind of lie to make trouble for me, but I'm going to take care of it, Mr. Whitney. Now, you get out of here, Doctor. I said get out.
There's a little more pressure on your wrist, Gunther, and I can send you out of here in an ambulance. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save that in case this happens again, which I doubt. If you can't get a license for your animals, at least try to keep them on a leash.
I don't think you're needed any longer, Chrissy.
Yes, Mr. Whitney.
Well, Gunther.
Look, I'm sure I don't know, Mr. Whitney. Look, the only thing I know is that Doc Cavanaugh has had it in for me ever since that time I was following Miss DeVal. I don't know why he should resent me so much. I'm just trying to do my job. Maybe, look, you know, he might be just a little sweet on her, you know?
You're lying, Gunther. Cavanaugh came in here like an outraged father avenging his daughter. Now, I want to know what caused that anger. Just what did you do to Jody Travis?
Not a damn thing. Now, it's honest. Look, all I was trying to do was just give her a little lift home. I don't know, maybe she misunderstood my intentions. But hell, that's not my fault. Look, all I was trying to...
You listen to me, Gunther. You stay away from that little girl. Cavanaugh knows nothing about the weaknesses that you've got like I do. Like, for example, how would you like to be out of a job? You just might not be able to get another one. Yeah, you might end up having to live with that crazy girlfriend of yours, Roxanne. They ever let her out?
I couldn't sleep. I thought maybe some milk would help. I didn't want to wake anybody, though.
Oh, you have it. A glass of milk sounds like a real good idea. There you go. Oh, here, have a seat. Really wish I could do something for you right now, more than just fix you a glass of milk.
Kelly, I don't know what I would have done if it hadn't been for you in the cars. If I had been alone when I heard the news about my father.
But you're not alone. You're with people who care about you a lot.
Thank you.
You couldn't sleep, huh?
Oh, God, I just lie there, and these memories of my father just keep flooding my mind. I keep thinking about the few times, really, that I was even with him in the last few years.
In Europe, you mean?
Yeah. 3 years ago, I guess, was the longest time I've spent with him. I spent my summer vacation at his clinic in Lucerne. I guess I was there about 2 months. That was the last time I ever lived with him. And even then, I didn't really see him very much.
Why not?
Oh, his wife, Beth. She kept me at arm's length as much as possible. She wasn't overly fond of me.
Yeah, no, that was her loss.
Oh, but Daddy was so busy, too. I ended up spending a lot more time with one of his patients.
Oh, yeah? Who was that?
It was a lieutenant named Jim Diedrichson. He'd been wounded in the Vietnam War, and he was at the clinic having a series of plastic surgery operations to reconstruct his face. And the strange thing, I never saw his face. I don't know what he looks like.
You never saw it? Not even after?
I had to go back to school before he was released.
Oh, I see. That, sounds pretty romantic, was it?
I guess it was as close to a real romance as I've ever come.
Do you still think of him?
No, not really. Sometimes. I wonder what he looks like. Where he is.